Well, here we are in Dallas, Texas, and it is my pleasure and honor to be able to visit with my friend and combat veteran Roosevelt Jackson, who I served with in Vietnam. Roosevelt, I can't tell you how pleased I am that I'm finally getting to see you again after 50 years.
I feel the same.
Yes.
You know,
and we're just going to have a little talk about your life and so forth, and I'll explain what we're doing. This is an oral history of our unit. In other words, if you can imagine a puzzle and all the pieces are missing, every man is a puzzle piece. And the more of those puzzle pieces I can get, then all of a sudden the puzzle starts showing up. In other words, the whole story. The story of what you and I were about, and so forth and so on.
Sure.
So, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want all of our relatives, friends, kids, grandkids, whatever, to be able to someday go to our website and click on Veterans Interview, and your name will be there, and they can click on that, and you're going to be alive, talking, and, you know, we'll be long gone.
Oh, well.
You're right. I mean, we're going to be long gone. But
sure.
these folks in your family and stuff we're going to get enough financing to keep this website up for 100 years. So it's going to be there for a long time.
Right.
So having said that, I'm just going to start by asking a few things about you. Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Terrell, Texas, which is east from here, about 33 miles.
Okay. And
yeah.
how old are you today? How old are you today?
Just had a birthday. Just a couple of about 3 months ago, February the 9th. That made me 73 years old.
Okay. And when you were growing up, you were always in Texas, or did your family move around, or how did that go?
Well, my family migrated from a little town called Scary, which is in Kaufman, on the outside of Kaufman, Texas. And my father was James Jackson, and my mother was Clara Mae Jackson, which both are deceased.
Okay.
And between the two of them, they had 12 children together. Yeah. And we were raised for us there in Terrell, Texas.
Where were you in the 12?
Well,
in the 12, what were you? The first or the last? Or
I'm somewhere around the middle way.
Okay.
Of this clan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then out of all those kids, I have to imagine that you've got some grandbabies.
I had some what now?
Grandbabies.
Well, yes. Together we have one daughter and 2 grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
And my daughter, she have 2 children, a young lady and a son.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. He just finished up with college, and my granddaughter, she's still in school, in grade school.
And are they in Texas? Are they close by?
Yeah. My grandson, he stay in Garland, and her mother and them, they stay in Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what were you doing? Did you join or did you get drafted?
I was drafted.
Like I was. Was it like out of school, or when did you get drafted in your life?
Well, I finished up in high school, 1965, and I worked for his, after I got out of school, and it was about after 2 years. No, it was after about 5 years, because I was drafted in, I was drafted in '68, so it was after about 3 years I was out of school. I was drafted, and
Were you thinking you would get drafted, or was it a surprise?
it was a complete surprise. I came in from work one day, and I was living. It's not too far from here, over South Boulevard, and looked in my mailbox, and you know, and I read the letter, and it read that I was drafted into the Army Force, you know, and a lot of thoughts crossed my mind during that time. I didn't have, I had one brother, my oldest brother, Ira Jackson. He was, wait a minute, there were 3 of them that went into, into the service, and I was the 4th one.
Now, were any of those brothers in Vietnam?
No, I was the only one.
Okay.
See, I was the only one that went into the service between, for his, my last one of my brothers was probably was doing during the 50s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Before
like Korea and
anyone of
I gotcha.
Went into the service.
Right.
See, and as I say, I was completely surprised, but I followed. I followed orders.
Did you, at that time, were you paying any attention to Vietnam at all?
Well, I heard it and I didn't hear it. You know, just like say.
I mean, that's exactly the way I was.
Right.
I heard about it, but I wasn't
just
thinking about
that was going on.
Yep.
See, you know, you never dream that you're going to be a part of that. You know, but then you know that's the way life is.
It is.
You know, full of surprises.
Where did you go to basic training?
I took basic training in El Paso,
And
Fort Bliss.
Oh yeah, Fort Bliss. And so you didn't go very far. I mean, you stayed in the state, right?
Well,
Fort Bliss is down in El Paso, so you weren't that far. Actually, you didn't have to go that far.
well, no, not for basic training. The El Paso, you know, and from El Paso, I was went down to Fort Benning,
Yep.
AIT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about basic. What do you remember most about basic training?
Well, I was scared to death. It was a little sergeant named Mr. Hogenegger, you know, a real small guy, and but he was tough as nails, you know, and I never experienced, you know, before, such attitude, you know, this guy. And man, I had a rough time going through basic training because what happened, well, my ankles swelled up real bad, and I couldn't hardly stand up, be on my feet.
Or running and all that stuff?
Yeah, see? But this guy, he didn't even, it didn't even faze him. See, I'm having all this trouble with my feet and things like that. Man, I tell you, he get on me and he didn't let up, you know. He kept on, on my heels, pushing me, and one thing to another, and I finally got through that, and I just came to mind. I said, man, I'm gonna have to soldier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, it just dawned on me was what I was up against and what I had to do, and I went on and soldiered, you know,
And so then you went to AIT, which was Fort Benning, Georgia.
yeah.
Now that's an infantry.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew then what you were going to be.
I had a taste of it. You know what I mean?
But you knew infantry.
I was ready to butt heads a little bit then. See, you know, I was, you know, had adapt a little bit, and you know, and I just had gained a little bit of insight on for what the military was, and I made friends, and it just, you know, it kind of gave me forwards a kind of different look, attitude forwards about forwards growing up.
Well, and I think both of us felt a little more.
Did I put it in the dog?
Wow.
Just a little glitch. But what I was going to say is both of us, by the time we got to that point, we had a little more confidence
Yeah,
in ourselves.
that's right.
And so, what do you remember most about AIT?
More about AIT.
What do you remember about it?
Oh, it was something a little different for its basis. See, you know, you graduated a little bit, and I started teaching you a little bit more for us about, you know, the Army, and for us, you know, taking care of for us yourself and you know, I mean, your comrade,
Mm-hmm.
and learn a little bit more about for us, you know, responsibility, you know, and
Did
things
you
like that.
Did you enjoy shooting weapons?
Well, I wouldn't say so much enjoyed it. You know, it was something different. You know, I kind of, you know, got a little hang of always of using always a gun. It's not like to say I hadn't always shot a gun, because me and my brother right along about my age. Well, then we used to hook up with some old friends and go hunting. See, we used to greyhound.
Mm-hmm.
We had greyhounds. We used to go out to forest in the countryside, hunt rabbits.
Oh yeah.
See, you know, sometimes we use the greyhound, and sometimes we use, you know, guns
Mm-hmm.
and different things of this nature. The only thing, it was, you know, the rabbit type of weapon.
Yeah.
That force was, you know, I mean, rather amazing to me. See, you know, and artillery and things, you know, you'd never just visual for such power.
Yes.
For its, you know, the military really are. See, you know, you know, I recall for its, you know, just a kind of a maze. See, to see such, I mean, power
Mm-hmm.
for its different weapons. I mean, zeroing in on a certain area and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's really amazing, you know, I mean, how much, I mean, power and how anything could live for us under such, I mean, great force, you know, now, you know, that was all for us amazing to me, and but then I say again, I met some friends. I got to, I recall I was blessed in a lot of sense. So it's, you know, after I got overseas, see, because it was guys that was, I was in a motor platoon, and see, and they chose me for to work for in the FTC office.
Mm-hmm.
See, and it was, you know, guys that, you know, hey, they had been there in the country for some time, and they just kind of took me under their wings, you know, and taught me all about for the FTC,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember a guy's name, Phil Iserino? Phil, he was in mortar platoon. when you were there? Phil Iserino, he was a little short guy.
Phil who?
Iserino.
Iserino.
He was a little short guy.
Well, not so much. I can recall such a short guy. Well, it was a few of us, but I can't recall that name.
Okay.
You know, he may have been out after I had been there.
Yeah. What was your first impression when you landed in Vietnam and got out and stepped on the ground?
Well, I thought that you know, it was something a hell of a lot different than what I ever saw. You know what I mean. My mind started turning over. You know, all about fear, a lot of fear. You know, and you know, couldn't quite understand, you know, how I was gonna get through all that.
Mm-hmm.
See, you know, for his when you step out into a situation that you never been, you know, especially when it's a kind of primitive, like what you are used to.
You bet.
Than what you are used to. See,
You bet.
It's a hell of a lot of different. See,
Do you remember what it smelled like when you got off the plane?
Well, it smelled very kind of foul.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah, it was a rather foul-like odor. See, because you know it was the waste, a lot of the sense. See, you know that it was outdoors, kind of a thing that they burnt.
Yes.
See, you can
that,
imagine.
And you
for
never,
all accounts.
And you never forget that smell.
No,
ever.
That's right. See.
So you didn't know at that point where you were going to go. So then you went to Long Binh, where the reception station was, and then when did you find out where you were actually going to go? You were going to be with the 25th. When did that happen?
Well, it was like a few days. Yeah, and I landed up for there in Cu Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Cu Chi.
And do you remember when you got to Cu Chi, did somebody from the company come out and introduce themselves, or did they tell you what to do at that point?
Well, you know, my company, they always you know, pull us together, and you know, and they you know, explained to us for us what we were there for, and you know, and where we was working around, what area, you know, and such. It was about, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks before my company moved out to the field.
Do you remember where that was at? Where you guys went?
Well, it was I think for around close to Tay Ninh somewhere.
Okay. What day or what date did you get into Vietnam?
When I got into Vietnam?
Yeah, what date was that?
Well, to tell you the truth, I just can't hardly recall what date it was.
Do you know what month?
It was somewhere for the spring sometime. Last part of the spring that I got over there. It must have been around April or May.
of 68?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it monsoon season? Was it raining a lot?
No, it wasn't.
That came a little bit later,
Yeah.
in August.
That's right. See, it came a little bit later.
Yep.
Yeah,
So what do you remember about actually going out now? Now you're not in Cu-Chi, now you're in Tainan.
Scared to death.
And
Scared to death.
and were you
You know,
starting to hear stories about things that
Well,
had
yeah,
happened?
there's a lot of stories, guys that tell you as far as the do's and the don'ts and you know and stuff is such of that nature, but then see my platoon for the motor platoon. Well, then, we kind of had our own little circle.
Yeah.
So,
That was 4th platoon. That's the mortar guys. Yep.
Yeah.
You guys kind of had your own thing going.
Yeah, see, we kind of had our own little circle.
And you were firing what, 81s?
Our what?
81 mortars, is that what size they were?
Well, 83, 81 mortars and the 4 deuce.
Oh yeah, that brought a lot of pain. That brought a lot of pain.
That's what we worked with. See, and we could get them out there too,
And
Yeah.
you guys shot a lot of illumination. I mean, you could, right? You'd put the illumination rounds out and light.
Oh yeah.
And light the place up.
Yeah, right. I plotted a lot of targets,
And then
you had to definitely know what you're doing.
yeah,
See, because you didn't, you fool around and put it right down on your own people. See?
yeah. And you know what? That happened when they weren't set up in the right place. You know, the infantry, sometimes they didn't have lieutenants that knew how to read a map right.
Well, then you have to know
and you have to know where.
the map. You have to know
Yeah.
the map. See, you know what I mean.
Otherwise, you're shooting where they're telling you to shoot.
That's what happens. See, you got to be on the same page.
Yes.
See, for as when it comes to for as calling in fire. See,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you go from Tainan? Where did the company move to after Tainan?
After I came in from
Tainan. After Tainan, you were at Tainan. Where did you go next?
well, then after tagging in what was that?
Do you remember?
Well, I can't
do you remember a place called Jackson
Jackson?
Fire Support Base?
Oh,
We were there.
oh, okay.
So do you remember Jackson at all?
Well, that sound familiar. It do sound familiar,
Yeah.
But I tell you, I forgot a lot of for his, places, for his we, went
Yeah.
and different stuff, But I know for his, Tiny and Tiny were one of the, business area that we
Mm-hmm.
fought at, Yeah.
Now, the mortar platoon used to stay at the fire support base, and we would go out, and then you guys would support us, right? But every once in a while, you guys used to go with us. Do you remember going out
Yeah,
with us?
That's right.
Yeah, and you had to carry those.
You had your little bitty
plates.
by parts and things, what I mean, that you packed on your back, and different stuff.
What did you think of going out with us, like on ambush patrols and stuff like that?
I always hoping you guys would take care of business.
Hey, do you remember on any of those occasions, did they ever have a firefight or did any action ever open up when you were out there with us?
Well, yeah, on some occasions, you know what I mean. We got fire, and different stuff. And we had to force, hey, hook up and fire a few rounds and different stuff, Yeah.
And you carried a weapon. You had an M16 also.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when you guys used to go out with us, you had to carry those plates, those base plates.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you want to talk heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you had to break that tube down and everybody's carrying parts, you know, and I mean, those things were heavy.
Yeah, you have to have the force, you know, be up to, you know, carrying weight.
Yes.
You know, and different stuff. You know, a lot of times, you know, we had to walk for some distance a lot of times, you know, and got our food, you know, brought to us for us from the Chinook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, dropped off food for us to us a lot of times, and man, you know, hey, a lot of time it wasn't no easy go, you know. Yeah, you had to really, I mean, for us toughen up, and for us mentally wise.
Yeah, yeah.
And things of this nature, see, you know. Yeah, but a lot of time we hey, had to spend for us, you know, a couple of days for us out there before we would go back for us to our base, you know, for us where we were set up, you know. Yeah, yeah. And one particular time we were sitting out there on the bunkers, and fellas, you know, we just sitting around, and all of a sudden we had for us incoming fire and things. Man, I tell you, I had a missile hit right there in front of me.
They were mortaring you, or was it a rocket?
A rocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a rocket. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you saw your life go right in front of your face.
Man, yeah. I saw my life just disappear right there. But it was this tree that was sitting right there for us, out in front of me to the sideline. And that tree caught the biggest part of that missile. And I hit the ground, and hey, I made it back inside of a bunker, and went out there the next day, man, I tell you, hey, I couldn't understand how I was still alive, really, you know. I didn't get a scratch, you know. Yeah.
Did you ever get wounded the whole time you were in Vietnam?
Get what?
Wounded? Did you ever get wounded?
I did never get wounded. That's what that point I'm making. I was fortunate. I never got out seen. I had friends that get, I mean, wounded and killed and things, you know, such of that nature.
I think a lot of it was luck, because there's no way to answer. Why didn't it get you?
You were blessed, sir.
Right? I mean, it just...
It was a God for his keeping
you know,
you.
I mean, something...
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for his,
absolutely.
for something, you know, just like what you're doing right here today. See, I'm a preacher.
All right.
Yeah.
Meet a preacher.
Okay then, that's right. He understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
See, that's right. It was the Lord on our side that brought us here today. You know, he had his and me now all in mind.
Yeah.
See, you know, we don't see for us no further than our finger, but the Lord, he see way up the road, and people that he bring along. See, for certain reasons, see, you know.
When you were a kid, was your family church-going family? I mean, your mom and dad, and did they go to church regularly? And so were you brought up in that?
I was brought up for us, you know, in church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I remember for us mostly, you know, growing up. I grew up in church, and not only grew up, I participated. I had to participate for us in different services. See, you know, and things like that.
Did you pass the plate? Did you pass the plate?
Pass the plate, yeah. Well, then, yeah, that's my wife, Miss Jackson. She been such an inspiration in my life, which helped me in all areas to be the man I'm here today. You know, because you know, without her, well, I don't know where I would be today. Because tell you the truth, I hadn't always been a Christian.
Yes.
See, and I you know, had been mischievous about some things, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Which not so thoughtful for as other human beings, you know, so much. Yeah, because you know, I just plainly didn't understand. You know, I realized for as what the Lord for as intended for us to be about, and that is about our brothers and sisters. You know what I mean?
When did you meet your wife? When did you meet your wife?
I met her. That was back about '74, wasn't it? 75. 75, and hey, as I say, I had been kind of used to having my way, you know, about a lot of things.
And did that,
you know, the Lord always got
are you saying things changed after that?
He always got something that for us, you know, to put a clamp for us on things, you know, and that is a woman. See, you know what I mean. Hey, I don't care how tough you think you are, and what you are, all you think you can do and be and think. Well, you know, that's all right. But see, you know, sometimes we don't have the right mind. See, in the right heart.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's when a woman to come in your life and change your way of doing and way of thinking. I credit Sister Jackson for that. You know what I mean? Hey, well, I was ripping and running and want to have fun. She kind of pulled me to the side and had me doing things her way in a lot of sense. I see she's always was a person that liked working with children and helping folk and things like that. And hey, I always had a car, and so she put me to work for his running her around in the city.
What kind of
picking up?
Oh, picking up.
You know, the things I wasn't used to doing.
So when did Mrs. Jackson tell you that you were going to marry her?
Well, that was about 4 years after, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
And you thought it was a pretty good idea.
Well, you know what I mean. I rolled it around in my mind, but I couldn't find no way out of it. You know. I couldn't find no way out of it. You know how you come to a dead end?
Sure.
See, you know, we all got a dead end. See, you know what I mean? I don't care what you do or what you say. Things change.
Mm-hmm.
See, it come to a point, things, you know, time for things to change in your life.
Well, it's just like we grew up in Vietnam. We went over there as kids.
Came back a different person.
We came back a real different person.
See, and that was the Lord doing.
Now, were you saved when you got married? Were you saved?
No, I wouldn't say really saved.
When did that happen in your life?
Well, you know, I'd say, you know, I've always, you know, had a heart, see, you know, for some other people, see. See, I never been a guy that was. I always say I may do certain things. I may have done certain things, but I always cared about people. See, and that's what God, if you know my weakness, see, for is what He used me.
Yeah.
See, he know your heart. See, He knew my heart for His people.
Yeah.
And He put me to work for His in helping people.
Good.
See, so you know, hey, and I after forwards meeting her, you know, it got me going to church a little bit and things like that, and it just was kind of like a snowball, you know. I just went from one thing to another. And He made me a deacon. I was a deacon for 5 years, and He pressed up on me, you know, you got to go on and go further, see, you know, and that's where I'm at right now, see, with my life, trying to, you know, hey, be a beacon of light.
Yes.
If you say, you know.
Do you know what the name of Tim's church is?
What's that?
Lighthouse Church.
Lighthouse Church. Well, then that's what it's all about.
Lighthouse.
That's right. That's what
light.
we need. That's exactly what Christ want us to be. That's right. For His in showing our good work. For His in this world, you know, light. We all need for us a light to shine in darkness.
Oh, yes.
You know, that's right.
So, did you do a lot of praying in Vietnam? Did you pray a lot?
I think I did.
So,
I think I did.
So, the closer you got to, you were there for 12 months. You were there the whole year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you got ready to come home, did you ever have a feeling like, wow, I hope I make it, or I hope I don't get killed the last month, or, you know, a lot of us, when we got short, you know, when we were almost ready to come home, we kind of got a feeling like maybe I'm not going to come home. Did you ever have feelings like that?
Oh, for His
like fear, you know, like you're afraid that, man, I've made it 11 months. And a lot of guys didn't. You know that.
Yeah.
A lot of guys never
Oh,
made it.
yeah, man. Yeah, that you would kind of, you know, kind of think on that, you know, how quick something could happen to you, you know what I mean? And seemed like the rest of the time just stood still in a sense, you know what I mean? You couldn't wait, you know, for it to get gone. Yeah.
So when you came home, what did you do? Did you just go right to work, or what did?
You know, for it in that it was a very sour pill for his coming home. Just because, you know, and I'm sure this must have been the case with a lot of Vietnam veterans that, you know, it was such a turnoff for his being received by your country. See, I hope that'll never happen with anybody else. You know, it was hard. What I was thinking, hoping for, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that is, I would be accepted as a serviceman
Mm-hmm.
for his being able to receive, not asking for anything free, but to be able to go to work and make a living.
Did you find it hard? Did you find it hard to find work?
Man, I was turned down on every front.
Do you think
Really?
do you
You
think
know,
do you think it had to do with you being a Vietnam veteran? Did it have to do with you being a veteran?
I don't think so. I think that just for people didn't give a big fat rat. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? As far as people no respect for
That's true.
their country.
That's true.
See, you know what I mean? See, that's a terrible thing. See, you know, here's a person that been taken out of their society and thrown over for us in a foreign place, and he come home, and you mean to tell me you can't for us be a man, a woman enough for us to offer them a job,
Yes.
to make a living?
How,
There's something wrong with that.
how long did that go on?
Oh hell, it went on for the longest until I had to go right on and for us. I went to this manpower
Oh yeah, I remember
welding
that. Yeah,
school.
I remember that.
You know, that was the only way I could for us grasp some kind of income.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They will pay you for us so much money. How they pay? I think about a week,
Yeah,
and it was very small.
and you would do different things, right? They'd get different jobs, and you'd go out on different jobs. Is that right? Manpower, they'd put you on a week here and then a week someplace else.
No, we just went there for us to train.
Oh,
See,
okay.
We didn't go out to do no work.
Okay.
See, it was just a training facility.
Oh, training. Okay.
See,
Okay.
and you trained, and I went there for about 6 months. And as I say, but during that time, that was the only way that I could, for us, get any kind of income. You
Mhm.
know, hey, I had tried to get a job, you know, for us to work and make a living. So, you know, from that, I just kind of went from one little thing for us to another. You know, hey, it really was a bad taste, like I say. You know what I mean?
And the whole country was in a mess.
Well, it was in a mess.
Yeah.
It truly was in a.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the Vietnam era, that was a bad time for us for soldiers.
Yeah.
It truly was. You know how they treated for us the soldiers coming back from over there. You got no kind of, I mean, respect and no kind of for welcoming and anything. They just throwed you back out into society and say, you know what I mean, swim or sink, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got a question I'd like to ask you. What does the flag mean to you?
Oh man, oh glory mean everything. Yeah, mean everything. Yeah, and I frown on people that say, you know what I mean, they don't respect the flag. See, and in that respect, it's not that flag, mister, it's what you do
Yes.
towards your countrymen.
Yes. Yes.
See, See, that's what that flag really represents. See, we are divided. That flag don't mean nothing if you're divided. See,
That's right.
see that folds up and stand for us. Hey, we like that.
Yeah.
See, you know,
What is,
in every area.
what is the definition of a hero to you? A hero. What is a hero?
Well, a hero is, you know, is somebody that for his the love his fellow man and got a heart to big enough to reach out.
Yep.
See, that's a hero to me. See, I ain't talking about no football player or a baseball player.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we get turned around about that thing. See, the real hero is the one that's on the front line and say, you know what I mean, hey, you're trying to help that little boy, little
Yes,
girl.
yes, that's good.
For his, help this young person for his achieve,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to reach their goal, you know what I mean. That's hero. See, that's what can make this country great.
Yeah.
See, not folk that for us stand back, see, you know what I mean. And,
I do, yeah.
And got their eyes set on for his a fortune and their own agenda. See, that's no hero.
Mhm.
See.
I'd like to have you look into the camera and tell me, what has your wife meant to you all these years?
Well, my wife, she mean everything to me. Yeah, that there's my soulmate, which I don't question. You know, God put us together, and don't let no man put us under. Hey, we have been through, the good time. We've been through some tough time. You know, hey, but we are determined to keep on this here journey of life. And I know with the Lord first, and we cling together and work together, we can accomplish and overcome anything.
Yeah, that's true. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, one of your grandchildren is going to watch this. What advice do you have for those young people that are coming after us, after we're gone? What would you like to share with them?
Well, number one, be honest with yourself and with other people. Don't look for the easy way out, which saying, don't look for something for nothing. Good things come through hard work and trust in the Lord. Lean not unto your own understanding, but trust the Lord. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path.
That's about as solid advice as I can think of. So what I'd like to do is thank you so much for coming and being with us.
Well, it's so good to meet you.
You know, it's been 50 years.
Well, then, hey.
You know, it's been a long time.
Yes, sir.
And you may not remember, but you and I were there at the same time, and I was in the infantry when you were humping the base plates with us. That's why I know you.
Okay.
When, you know, because you were out there setting up the tubes, and
Well, then, I was so glad to back there.
And I always thought to myself, I'm glad he's carrying that base plate and not me. Because I can't remember what they weighed, but a Ford Deuce base plate.
Oh, this was heavy stuff.
Buddy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but you had to you needed it. You know what I mean? For as try to keep them off of you. You know.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this has just been a pleasure. And I'm going to give you a card that has the website address. You go get on computer, right?
Okay.
You guys get on the computer?
Well, we go on YouTube.
Great.
Oh,
Great.
all these interviews are on YouTube.
Okay.
So,
What do you put it up on the?
I'm going to give you a card right
Oh,
here.
okay.
Right on the bottom there, see where it says YouTube? And you go to YouTube and just search Wolfhounds Forever.
Oh,
That's it. Wolfhounds Forever.
Oh.
And boy, they'll come up and you can just start clicking on them and hearing all the stories and all the guys' stories about Vietnam and so forth.
all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And this, in closing, really, my purpose in 2003, that's when I started looking for the guys.
Right.
It came to me that because of the situation we were put in when we came home, none of the guys ever talked about it. None of the guys ever told anybody because they were looked upon badly, like you said. My goal is to have every veteran have pride
Right.
in their service, and that their service wasn't for nothing. Your service was important.
Right.
I mean, so important. So I want you to have pride in your
Sure.
service, and all
Yeah.
the guys, you know, because so many guys felt like they were a failure. You know, they felt like nobody's interested, nobody cares.
That's right.
So you
Yeah,
got
that's definitely for us.
Oh yeah,
I mean, rest on a lot of people, you know, for his that when I was over there and came back for his empty
oh yeah.
situation, you know. But then, you know, it's just such a, I think, a blessed thing in what you are doing.
Oh, thank you.
know, that's why, you know, I definitely I wanted to get for us to meet you,
Yeah.
you know, in person. See,
And
know.
you've been keeping touch, because when I email stuff, you get the little notes and things that are going on, right? You keep up with what we're doing, the Wolfhounds, right? When I email stuff out, yeah. So, and you'll always be on that, so you'll always know,
Right.
you know, all about that.
Yeah.
And we have reunions. We do reunions every 2 years.
Yeah.
And next year, 2020, it's going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
And if you guys were able or thought you'd want to come, we would just love to have you come.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
they never know. We may just show up.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Just may
you-
just show up.
And
That's
it's
right.
and it's just,
I would like to.
And it's such a wonderful thing to see the guys, you know, and everybody
Yeah.
gets together, and it's real healing.
I would like to show up.
Because I'm going to tell you something about healing Vietnam veterans. Vietnam veterans get healing two ways. God can heal them, and another veteran. If you are with a guy that was with you there, he's the only guy that knows exactly what you went through. And so now you don't have to hold it all to yourself. Now we can tell our story.
Right.
Now we can say, you know, I was so scared.
Right.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's nothing
what
like
to
being
do.
able to tell your story. That really
So-
kind of, you know, mean. It really means.
It means so
something.
much. So at these reunions, just because of recognition and everybody just feels so good about what their service was all about. Whereas before, nobody wanted to even, you know, do you know how many wives come to a reunion and didn't know anything about their husband's service? They never told them. They never talked about it.
Okay.
They come to a reunion and they get with all these veterans and all these veterans' wives, and it's like an eye-opener. They go, Now I know why he's like he is.
I can imagine. But I'm going to have to use the bathroom.
Okay, well, thank you for coming, and
Oh, yeah.
I know it took some effort for you to come, and I do appreciate it.
Oh, yes, but
Yeah.
it's my pleasure.
Buddy,
I tell you,
you know what?
man, I wouldn't have gave nothing for it to meet with you, you know.
you know what? I love you.
And,
I truly-
same here.
I truly
I
do.
say it's great. It's great for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.